Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News, April 13th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give all of you a quick update on Dr. Albers. I'm receiving a lot of messages and emails concerned about how the chelation therapy is going with the mercury poisoning, and so far, so good. I'd like to thank everybody who has contributed to helping out financially with these therapy appointments. Just a few weeks ago, she wasn't doing all that well after this last therapy appointment. Just like before, through the other appointments, she undergoes almost a week of very, very severe fatigue, and we also have to watch for this blood clotting and this heavy bruising that seems to appear literally overnight. All of that occurred once again, but she's gotten through it. But the fatigue factor is still overwhelming. She's going to be getting ready for another appointment that will be upcoming in the next few weeks. And if anybody, once again, would like to help out and contribute to the medical fund for Dr. Albers, you can do so by using the PayPal link in the description box under this video. And if you cannot, hey, no problem. A simple prayer for her well-being will be good enough. But it is very expensive, and the lab tests are just I gotta say, man, they're quite costly, and I'm doing the best that I can to take care of all of this, and we're gonna get through it. But anyways, besides that, I know I haven't been on YouTube doing a lot of live streams and posting a lot of videos over the past, almost 9 months now, because I've been very busy trying to keep my head above water throughout this whole entire situation that's surrounding the entire world. And, that all stems around this so-called pandemic. I don't really want to touch base on any of that on this YouTube channel. I'm already censored enough. However, I've been noticing for the last couple of years these very severe changes in our climate, and I'm going to be going into that a lot further in the days and weeks and months to come, because the research that I've been doing, I've been keeping most of it to myself. Just simply, making sure that what I'm looking at, what I'm finding, is true and accurate. And I'll be quite honest, folks. I'm not trying to be a fear monger here, but it's not looking too good. And I've run across some other information that I'll be revealing to all of you again in the days and the weeks and the months to come. These latest photographs that you're going to see here today, there was a pretty large coronal mass ejection once again yesterday, and I was able to get the imagery, run it through all of this programming, and just about, I'd say about an hour ago, it rendered the photographs. I'm also going to be showing you some information on brown dwarf stars, how fast they spin compared to Jupiter and Saturn. We're talking about the rotation. Now, we all know that the Earth rotates once every 24 hours. Brown dwarf stars rotate very, very rapidly. And I'm not saying that this object is a brown dwarf. However, it seems to have a very, very strong magnetic field. And the faster it spins, the stronger this magnetic field may be and may be coming. So I'll show you this imagery in this video. Watch it very carefully. We're also going to be taking a look at some models that were produced showing climate change, the heating up of the Earth over a period from, I believe, about 2000 all the way to 2019. And this is another huge factor of what is happening on this planet. And I know a lot of that is, controversial, whatever. We know that it's happening. Some people want to deny it. Some people want to call it something else. They want to blame it on man. But blaming this climate change on man, to me, after seeing this evidence, is completely idiotic. It's just an excuse. Yesterday, I went outside. I had to cut some grass. Springtime grass is growing. I was only outside for 1 hour. Cut the grass, did some weed whacking, came back inside, took a shower, and within an hour after that, I noticed that both of my arms, both of my forearms, and the top of my head was completely blistered with these little tiny little blisters. Now, this has been happening to me for the last several years. I had some slight sunburn. I happened to stop over at my friend's house after that, and he had been out doing the same thing, cutting grass. He didn't have a shirt on. Both of his arms and the top of his shoulders was completely sunburned. Now, I've been out in the sun, all my life. Spent 25 years in Miami, South Florida, out in the sun. I've been sunburned before, but never in the middle of April, and never so fast where my skin just blistered like that. And it seems that the rays of the sun are just so much stronger. They're breaking through the radiation. Or is it really the sun's radiation that we're experiencing? Or is it a combination of radiation coming from this object combined with the sun? Something else that I'm going to be getting into with all of you, I've seen a lot of it coming out in the media, and I'm talking mainstream media, is all of this UFO disclosure. And, look, I've been a UFO fanatic as far back as when I was a teenager. I do believe in the UFO phenomenon. But now it seems like all of this is coming mainstream. And on June 1st, we're supposed to have a lot of this disclosure that's going to be coming from the United States government. So we're going to definitely delve into that within the next couple of weeks. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and we'll be talking a lot about that. Now, up on your screen now, you see the CME tracker, the coronal mass ejection tracker. And you can see this latest CME eject from the sun. It's kind of off towards the back of the sun, not facing the Earth. And once again, I've mentioned this many times before, that I truly believe, based on my observations over all of these years, that these coronal mass ejections are a direct cause of when this stellar core, this Planet X object, passes by the sun at its closest point. So I guess you have to think of it this way. If you don't have a very deep knowledge of science and space and planets and the sun, I do believe that this object spins and rotates at a very, very fast pace, therefore creating a very, very strong magnetic field. When it interacts with the sun, I do believe at this point in time, during its closest interaction, during this 28-day orbit, it literally pulls the plasma from the sun, therefore creating this coronal mass ejection. During the coronal mass ejection, that is giving us an opportunity to get some visibility of this object, snatching some photographs that we can get or obtain from these coronagraphs. Now, what we're going to be taking a look at now is what I mentioned in the beginning of this video, and that is this severe climate change. And it's coming, folks. So we're looking at a model that goes back to 2001. And if you pay close attention to the modeling, it's going to be showing you how the Earth is heating up in different regions. Something that is kind of puzzling to me, there were several articles that came out last week talking about a grand solar minimum. Even though we're supposed to be moving into a solar maximum very, very soon, it doesn't seem that scientists think that's going to happen. And during a grand solar minimum, we could move into a 50-year stretch of very severe climate change. And that would mean, droughts and very severe cold, severe weather, just worldwide. And that's something that can be quite devastating to the entire planet. And that's something that we're going to have to deal with very soon. Now, as I mentioned, there's a possibility that this object shows a lot of characteristics of a brown dwarf star. I don't believe that it is. However, these models show you the approximate rotation of a brown dwarf star compared to Jupiter and also Saturn. And the faster this object rotates, the less light that it will emit. That's a very high possibility why we are not able to see it clearly or at all from any ground-based telescopes, including telescopes at observatories. So I wanted to show you guys these models because everybody always has that question. Why can't we see it from Earth? Well, there's a lot of things that we can't see from Earth. The following photographs that you're about to see here were captured just yesterday. And once again, they are quite amazing. This was right in the middle of this coronal mass ejection. And once again, folks, clearly visible. I run all of this imagery through my programs, my special programs that I have. These are proprietary programs. I've talked about them before. I have access to them. I'm not going to talk too much more about them because I have someone who helps me and gives me access to this forensic software. And I don't want to get them in trouble, but they've been helping me quite a bit. And without their help, we would probably not have the exclusive content that you will only see here on Planet X News. So make sure you guys stay subscribed and stay tuned, because let's just face it, we're going to have a lot more coronal mass ejections, and we're going to continue to have more imagery as time goes on. What the effects are going to be on the Earth, well, I do believe that we are already seeing them. I do believe that we are seeing these effects on the Earth, probably over the past, maybe the last decade, but it seems to be getting worse. Combined with this solar minimum, where the Earth's magnetic field gets weaker, more radiation comes in, and also the possibility of more cosmic rays penetrating into the Earth. And you're only going to see this type of imagery here on this channel. I know there's a lot of other channels that want you to believe in Nibiru and, the Anunnaki, and, they show you a lot of fake imagery, fake photographs. A lot of people are showing, once again, all of these lens flares from those Alaskan sky cams and web cams. But folks, that's nothing but lens flares. But people do get caught up in it, and, they send me the photographs all the time. And I've been repeating myself over and over and over again for years, just showing people in videos that I've done and telling them that those are not real photographs. They're fake. They're lens flares. They're reflections in the cameras and the housings. But, look, you believe what you want to believe. This is some imagery here that is just absolutely astounding. I've shown all of you these images before, and I do my homework, and I've spent a lot of money in the years past on upgrading all of my software and all of my computer systems here, and it's allowed me to get out there and capture what scientists and astronomers have been looking for decades. Whether they have found it and not publicized it to the general public, I don't know. But what I do know is there is a stellar core system that has entered our solar system on or about 2007. And literally has invaded our solar system, our sun. If you know anything about, gravity and the way things happen in space, objects that would come into our solar system, such as comets or asteroids, they get closer to the sun. They're captured by the sun's gravity. Sometimes they're placed into long orbits, and we see the comet every, 50 years or 100 years or 1,000 years. Same thing with asteroids. So what is the possibility that this has happened with this stellar core object, these Planet X objects? Maybe this system was moving through our galaxy for thousands, tens of thousands, millions, or billions of years. And now it got close enough to a star that we call the sun, and the sun and its gravity slowly pulled it in to the point where it placed it into an orbit. Now, that orbit might have been much, much greater than it is now. But now, in this day and time, this orbit seems to have shrunk down to about a 28-day orbit, which is very fast but it's possible. If you take a look at the planet Mercury, Mercury orbits the sun every 88 days. Mercury is a small little rocky planet. It survives. So what makes you think that an object, possibly 5 times larger than Jupiter, with a very, very strong magnetic field of its own, could not orbit our sun? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's reality. Science has never witnessed anything like this before, until now. If science came out and they told everybody that our solar system has been invaded by another stellar core type system and we don't know what it is, but here is some photographs and some video of what we're observing, what do you think would happen to the science world? Well, it would be turned upside down. Would it cause a mass panic? Maybe. I don't know. But it has happened. Remember, folks, we are just a little teeny tiny planet in one galaxy amongst billions of galaxies, billions of stars, millions of planets and exoplanets. We don't truly know what is out there. You know, we're just human beings. So, what we're looking at here is the footage from the Stereo B Core 2 back in 2007. And this is the video footage that started it all. This is where I was able to begin my research and my hypothesis pertaining to, wow, this object is now orbiting our star. You can clearly see it. Now, some debunkers have gone on over the years to claim that that is our moon. You know, the moon that you see up in the sky from Earth. Well, look, I don't think so. This video footage was leaked to me by a New York Times reporter who had the video footage leaked to her. And I've gone over that many, many times. And she emailed me back in 2016 and gave me a data link for this, which was like a Google Drive. She explained everything to me and told me that she could not divulge any of this data, but she had been watching my YouTube channel back in 2016, and she thought that I was the one, I guess, to bring it to all of you. And yes, it has caused me a whirlwind of trouble. Let's just put it that way. It's not been fun. You can clearly see that the object comes in, and I've slowed this down quite a bit. And remember, this is from 2007. And I think that this is probably close to the beginning stages of where this stellar core object was already captured by the sun, and the sun's gravitational force was literally pulling it in to a closer orbit. So maybe at one time, maybe its orbit was rotating, circling around the sun. Well, let's just say maybe once every 10 years. Then it shrunk down to 5 years. Then maybe 1 year. Then maybe several months. I don't really know how all of that occurred. But we're seeing it at a frequency of about once every 28 days. Now, because these spacecraft, the Stereo A and Stereo B, which we don't have access to Stereo B anymore, but these these spacecraft that monitor the sun, they are rotating along with the Earth around the sun. So we actually get different views of this object during these coronal mass ejections. So a lot of people have asked me about that before. I've tried to explain it the best that I could. So everything in space is in constant motion. Now, a while back, I developed this small-scaled diagram and visualization project I did here to show you guys how this object is possibly orbiting the sun at a very acute elliptical and eccentric orbit. That's why we don't really see this object eclipsing the sun, because of this angle. It's a very, very acute angle, and we've seen it just now in the video that I showed you guys from 2007. It is a very, very weird angle. And, I made this model a while back, and, it's about as accurate as I could get it. I don't have, animation software, but it was as close as I could get it. And in this video of the SDO, I've captured this many, many times before, and this is showing you, once again, the acute angle at which this object travels. So it's not on a flat plane like the Earth and several of our other planets. It's at a very acute angle, and that may be due to the way that it came in to our solar system, whether it came in below the ecliptical plane, whether it came in above. But it had to come in at some type of angle. Now, we see these acute angles with comets, and we also see them with asteroids. So, once again, what makes you think that this could not be possible with a large stellar core object that we don't really know the composition of? But what makes you think that something like this, in the vastness of space, could not invade our solar system? Still, folks, we're going to have many, many questions for a long period of time. Will we get them answered? I don't know. I really don't. But I'll continue searching, and I will continue to bring all of you the latest photographs and captures of this object, this system, because there's other objects coming in with this object. So you guys stay tuned to Planet X News.